little issues. I had a person watch the channel and they actually sent me two different messages, and they were speaking about some issues they was having with their printers. So I don't know if they was printing with a 7890, 9900, um, 7900, or let me see, 9890. I don't know what printer they was actually printing with, but they responded to one of my videos. So obviously they must have some type of printer or what I just named. So if somebody jump on, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna speak about the printers. That's what I want to just address the the elephant in the room. So yeah, hopefully somebody jump on. If not, it's too late. But you're gonna get this this video probably later on tomorrow if anybody get on. But so we're gonna speak about these printers. They said that I want to say the 7890, 7900, they all in the same boat. They said that the printer uh, don't print too good with the whites or with DTF converted over. They printed 50%. They said or something like that, and printer has error codes or whatnot. So I'm just going to say, from my experience dealing with the 7900, 7890, 9900, um, those printers are great printers for DTF when you convert them over. So I never seen their printers throw a lot of codes or anything like that. And I'm going to get you know, to the nitty gritty when it talk about these printers and when you get these printers, what you expect from these printers. Because a lot of people get these printers from third party websites. They get them from OfferUp. They get them probably from Craigslist, or they get them from somebody had a, ad in the paper or whatever. And they get the printers and they expect that the printer's going to be in great condition. Some people don't even research the printers. They just get them because they see them and they think they can just fix them up. And then the people that actually sell these printers go online and see how much they actually go for. Like, oh, your printer goes for a couple of grand, so I'm gonna sell this printer for this price. So they don't have any research either that they do. And 9 times out of 10, when you ask the person, if you're, say, if I was gonna go purchase a printer and say, hey, call the guy up and say, hey, how long have you had this printer? He say, I had it for a year or 2 years, and I don't know too much about the printer. I know I had it for a year or two. It's been sitting in my garage. And the average person like me or you, we seen the printer on YouTube, somebody printing with the printer, and we decide to purchase it for a cheap price, right? We get it, and we have to either go through the printer and see what's wrong with it. If we don't know nothing about it, then we're going to stuck to be tedious and tinker with the printer and don't even know nothing, right? So I'm going to just address this. So the person said that they had the printer, they printed with it, they noticed after printing with 50%, I guess, of the ink, the printers actually start throwing codes or the ink clogged up or whatever the case is. I'm going to address that right now. So when you get into DTF, when I got into DTF, I got the printer. What I normally do is I use the service program and I go through the printer and I recalibrate everything from the ink tube, print head, from the actual capping station. I recalibrate everything to as if it's brand new. These printers are kind of similar to a car. When you actually drive a car for 30 miles, whatever case, but 3,000 miles, you have to actually change the oil. The oil check engine light will come on. And when you actually change the oil, the check light will still be on because the actual service technician is going to reset the check engine light, right? Or the oil light. It's the same thing with these printers. When you use these printers for a certain period of time, a lot of codes pop up. Sometimes people don't even clean the printers. They leave around the sensors. They don't use the compressed air in the can to spray around the sensors to get all the little dust and debris from the printers away, because that would throw codes too. So you have to know it's different things of why it will actually throw codes. But if your printer is throwing codes after codes after codes, then that means that you bought something that you shouldn't have been buying in the first place. Because when I had my first printer, I printed for a whole year, like 9 months to 10 months. I didn't have no problems at all with the printer. Did the maintenance, made sure the humidity in the room is proper. So a lot of people say the printer, the ink is bad, and maybe you don't have the right humidity. If your humidity is off, then you're not going to have the right, environment for the printer to print at optimum printing that we're supposed to. So you got to keep that in mind too. You can't just get a printer, set it up, and do a nozzle check, and then put your software together and upload it and then start printing. You have to make sure the calibration and everything is right when you start getting with these printers. If you don't, you're gonna have problems. If you don't have any technical um, support, or if you don't have any knowledge of DTF and you get into these big printers, you got to make sure that you do some type of homework. Because if you don't do no homework, you're gonna be stuck, not knowing anything. So when I read the comment, I was like, I don't know. I never had that problem that you have before, because I make sure when I go through the printer, I service it and I make sure that I'm getting something that's it's working condition, or I know I'm buying something that's not in working condition, and I'm going to go through it, change the print heads if I need to, flush the printer out, do all the things you need to do to get the printer right, and go into the software and calibrate the software so the printer can know that this part that I'm putting on is new. It's not an old part, and you recalibrate it so you clear the codes and make sure that it's erased and the printer is printing smooth, and you will have no problems. So if you've done all that and your printer is still printing and it's not printing right, then you just bought a defective printer. So that's what I can say. Because I dealt with 7890, 7900, 9890, P6000, and these printers print super, super awesome and never had any problems with just the normal wear and tear that the printer should have when you print it for a long period of time. So, and another thing too, I notice a lot of people when they send me the images and they show me long transfers they printed, I don't see any nozzle checks in between the prints. I just see a long print and they say, hey, I have this problem. Do you know what this problem is? Yes, you're not doing nozzle checks to check and see what the head state is. If you need to do a cleaning in between the prints, you're not checking the head state. So if you keep on printing and printing and printing and printing, of course you're gonna have banding in the images in a certain period of time. So if you don't check after every 5 or 10 feet or whatever, that you're printing out, if you're printing little images, just make sure you do a novel check afterward to see if any color is lost in between the lines, so you can know do a normal cleaning, power cleaning, so you can know the print head where it's looking and how it's looking. I mean, that's what I meant to say. So these little things that you have to do when you're printing day in and day out. And hopefully that you guys and females that's watching this, if you guys are printing for a long period of time, you do nozzle checks. If you're printing every other day, make sure you do the daily maintenance. You have to still maintenance the printer if you're not printing with it. You just have to. If you don't, and you say 2 days or 3 days from now, you think that the printer's going to start printing as if the first day you got it when it gave you that awesome quality print, you're wrong. It's not going to do that, because you're going to have some type of cloggage inside the lines until you do a power cleaning. And that is, printers 101. So when you get the printers, hopefully you guys buy printers from people. Now, let me say this. Hopefully you guys buy printers from people that's going to give you the proper education and knowledge on this printer, all the way from the setup to the daily maintenance to the power the printer off, and then the next morning get up and what you're going to do again. You have to know these things, because if you don't know these things, it's going to cost you dearly. And forbid you spent, I say, 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand on these printers, and you have to make this in service to yourself, because the technical support is not there for you, or you have to call at a later time because the technical support is in a whole nother state, a whole nother country. So be careful for that. So let me see who hit me up. You say I'm jealous other people never came across your stream. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I just want to just do this and say, I just want to just say this. When you're getting into DTF, make sure you know the ins and outs, the daily maintenance, the treatment of the room. Make sure you have a good print environment for your printer. When you cut your printer on in the morning, make sure you look at, if you have some type of monitoring, look at your monitor and see what the humidity in your room is before you start powering your printer on, before you start doing any cleanings. Bring the room up to the proper environment, 40% or 35, or just make sure it's in the right temperature setting that it's supposed to be when your printer is good, because it'll tell you if you buy a printer, or if somebody say, hey, you have to make sure your room is at 40%, because if it's not, then if it drops below, you're gonna get some type of abandoned in the prints. Probably the inks probably start puddling and start smearing across the actual transfer. They're gonna be different things you're gonna start experiencing. You have to know what these things are. And if it starts drying out, you're gonna start getting banding in the prints. So you have to know these things. If you don't know, make sure you go look it up on YouTube or look it up on Google and see images of banding, or see images when it drops down 30%, what it looks like when puddling is. What is puddling? What is dripping? You got to know all these different things, guys, because these things can destroy your print head within time. Within 2 to 3 days, 4 days, your print head can be trashed just through, and your printer probably cost you a couple of grand. So keep that in mind. So daily maintenance is very important. If you're not printing, just remember that. And remember the inks that you guys are using too. Because a lot of people have inks. Say you buy a printer from a certain company, and you decide a couple weeks later or a couple months later that, oh, I don't like this ink. It's not vibrant enough for me. So let me try to see what ink is good for this printer. What's compatible with this printer? I'm going to tell you guys now. That'll be a terrible mistake for you guys. That'll be a terrible mistake for you guys to ever buy a printer from a manufacturer, and they send you the ink that's compatible with the printer, and then you start printing days and days and days to weeks and say you want to switch to inks. That'll be a terrible mistake for you guys. I will tell you what you need to do in that case. I got a better solution for you guys. If you are using inks and you don't like the vibrancy that it's giving you, change your color setting, your print setting. Use a different print setting, because different print settings will give you different colors, and it will throw different type of color waves at you. And you can go in and up it. So if you're using Catalink, you can up the magenta, you can up the cyan, you can up different colors so you can get that colorway that you're looking for. Or maybe you need to change your ICC profiles. If you don't have any ICC profiles, maybe you need to put some on, because that can give you a broader color that you're looking for. Let me say this again. If you people purchase any printers from the manufacturer, do not change the inks down the line like 2 weeks or a month or two to try to see if you're getting vibrant colors. If the colors is not vibrant enough, do not change them. Just change your color settings and it will give you a different color. So that's very important for you guys to know. But other than that, I'm about to get up out of here. Thank you guys for watching F.O.M DTF. If you have any questions, guys, hit me up. And until then, peace.